We got Andre Soukhamthath back here on the program. He's going to be fighting in Canada, UFC Moncton, coming up here against Gavin Tucker. Andre, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, James? How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to hear from you. Of course, we haven't seen you in quite some time. Did you want this much time off, or were you looking to get in there a little bit sooner?
I wanted it. I had a lot of things to, settle, get my life in line a little bit, and recover from injuries, the most important thing. So, that's what I wanted to do. That's why I wanted time off. But I'm glad I'm fighting again now.
No, and it's a big fight, and we'll talk about that in one sec. But obviously, the Sean O'Malley fight was the last time we saw you. What did you take away from that performance? Against a really tough prospect in Sean O'Malley.
In the fight itself, you know, I, I, I obviously made a mistake. You know what I mean? And I, I learned a lot from that fight. That's all I can say. You know, not just in the fight, but after it, and just the whole experience of being in that position of fighting somebody like Sean O'Malley. You know, somebody who's making a lot of noise, someone who's really popular, and someone who could just say whatever he wants to say. You know, and someone the fans love. I learned a lot from that fight, and I'm definitely gonna grow from that fight for sure.
And of course, social media, the fans, they'll say whatever they want. How did you sort of deal with that after the fight? Because everyone's an expert except for the people actually fighting in the cage.
It was tough, honestly, man. You know, because I had everybody really talking shit about me, and they don't know the backstory of my camp and what I had to go through just to make it to that fight. And I just think about that and think about how strong I was during that camp, and me making it through camp to actually make it to fight night, to getting a fight of the night bonus. I try to think of that as a positive way, even though I lost, even though I could have easily won, when I could have just stood up in the last round. But like I said, it was a lot of lessons learned. I wasn't, you know, I didn't just look at that fight. I looked at the whole year I was in UFC, and it was time to refocus a lot of things I was putting my focus to. And I think the Sean O'Malley fight's gonna make me a lot better, as a person, as a fighter, and hopefully, and you guys will see, everybody will see, come October 27th, when they shut everybody up, and they're gonna have no choice but to respect my abilities.
And you taking on Gavin Tucker, so you find out you're fighting him. Were you a little bit surprised? Because, of course, Tucker fought at 45. He's making that drop down to 135. I bet he was a name you probably weren't thinking of for your next opponent.
I never really target people. I don't target names. I don't. You don't know. You never know what the UFC wants. So, especially at this time of my career with them, so I'm ready for anybody. It's not. I always say I'll fight anyone. Basically anywhere, anytime. And I'm going to Canada now, and I'm fighting Gavin Tucker. He's a favorite there, a fan favorite there, and I'm not afraid. So I'm really excited for this fight. Yeah, he's coming down to 135, and I'll be happy to welcome him to the division.
And do you feel like in some ways, having gone through the fight with O'Malley, where, fans were, I mean, it was kind of split, to be honest. I don't think people give you credit for the fan base that you have, heading into that fight. But do you feel like taking on a guy like Tucker in his own backyard, he's a Maritimer, he's going to have a lot of support. Do you feel like that's going to benefit you just because you kind of went through this in your last fight?
I went through this in my Mexico fight against Alejandro Perez, and I went into his home turf, and, I felt like I got robbed the decision, but I also felt like, I I screwed myself too in that fight too. So it's the same situation I'm looking at. I'm going into Canada. I'm fighting a popular Canadian that's a prospect, and I'm looking to steal the show and put him away. That's that.
How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
I think actually it's going to make a really good fight. He likes to strike. He's really fast, and he has great cardio. And people like that, people that are prospects, that are talented, that usually brings out the best in me. So I'm really excited in fighting him in Canada.
And how much do you think? I mean, I know you can't play hypotheticals here, but he took a beating in his last fight. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The ref could have easily stepped in there and stopped it. And I know he's had a lot of time off in between the last fight and this one. But do you feel like just the fact you're a guy who hasn't taken a lot of damage in his fights? Do you feel like the durability might be on your side in this one?
Yeah, I think he took a beating his last fight, and that's really up to him. Is he gonna go in there like he usually does, or is he gonna be more cautious? I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna be a better version of myself in there, and hit him with shots, and let's see. Let's see. He was tough before, but who knows? Who knows how that chin and how that face is now after that beating he took. So we shall see, man. I'm not doubting that he's still tough. I'm not doubting that he will be cautious. He won't be cautious, but we'll see, man.
And you and I were talking off air a little bit. You've actually split up your camp for this fight. You train primarily in Florida, but I know you're on the East Coast right now. How have you structured your camp this time around?
I did my first 4 weeks in Florida with Hard Knocks 365. I live in Florida 365 days a year. I live there and I train with great guys, great talent, great coaches. Obviously, I'm with Henry Hooft in the squad, so we always got talent under that roof, man. But I wanted to come back home for this fight and get some more attention based towards me. My old team. Nothing's changed when I came up here. I had the same strength conditioning coach. I'm working with the same MMA coaches, the same head coach, my boxing coach, Dave Keefe, Pete Jeffrey, and Keith Jeffrey, and most importantly, my father. I'm working with my father a lot, and it's just a peace of mind for me to know that if I ever need anything, that one of those guys would give me what I need right away, like no hesitations. Yeah, it's tough. I understand it's tough down there, when you have so many studs going through the door, and this and that. So it's hard to, give the full attention to everybody. But I feel like I'm a star too, man. So I, when it's fight time, I just I wanted my personal time, and here I am. I'm doing it. I left my family. I'm gonna be with Don for 6 weeks, but I think that this is gonna make me a better fighter for sure.
Yeah, it's good to definitely get some different looks. Have you been working at all with Greg Rebello, and if so, has he been giving you a hard time at all? Because I know on Twitter is one thing, but in person is a different thing.
Yeah, Greg. I was with Greg last night. We've been working a little bit. Mostly we just talk. We're good friends. So he still tries to make fun of me, but it's the same thing. It's good to be around these guys in the North again. It's a different energy. Everybody's just working hard. No glamour, no nothing. The only important thing is just getting the work done, and that's what we're doing up here. We're getting the work done.
How's the weight cut going?
The weight cut's great. I have no issues. I'm not worried about the weight at all. I had a lot of time to prepare for this fight on the physical side, on the mental side, and then nutrition side. So I'm a professional, and I'm going to go in, make weight, and perform like a professional. October 27th.
And because you split the camps up this time around, who's going to be in your corner?
Dave Keefe, my boxing coach, he's my head coach. He's been my head coach when I was 10-0, and I'm coming back to him. Pete Jeffrey, out of Triforce MMA, he's an MMA veteran, has a lot of knowledge of the game, and he's also been with me when I was 10-0. And my father, he's gonna be in my corner too. The Muay Lao master, and he's been with me all, until I moved to Florida. He's been in my corner all my fights. So I definitely feel at home with this group. I feel like they're going to sleep and waking up thinking about me for 6 weeks, and that's what I need. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm excited to show the world what me and my team up here can do.
How do you see this fight playing out on October 27th?
You know, I honestly feel like I'm gonna sleep him in the first round. I'm gonna knock him out in the first round, man. I'm gonna find my shots and I'm gonna knock him out. Because you know what? I have a lot of people to shut up, and I know I'm better than what I showed last year, and I'm gonna show it this time. No games, no games. I'm fully focused, on me, on fighting, and that's it.
Before I let you go, some unfortunate news that we found out last week. Glen Robinson passing away, suddenly from a heart attack. I don't know if you were close with Glen or not, but if you were, is there like a memory or anything you want to share here? This really tragic news.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. You know, without Glenn, there wouldn't be no Black Zillions. There wouldn't be. I wouldn't have met all the people I've met, made all the friends I've made. I just want to thank him for just opening the door for me, with joining the team, and I just remember him giving me a phone call saying, "Hey, we got a UFC fight for you." He never managed me or anything, but I fought under the Black Zillions at that time, and he was always trying to, put my name in there, throw my name in there, throw my name in there. And then finally he called me and was like, hey, we got a fight for you next week. That's when I made my debut in Vegas against Albert Morales. And, I'll never forget that phone call. And it was, that's probably the best memory I had of him.
Good stuff, man. Well, we're looking forward to this fight. It's coming up here October 27th. It is UFC Fight Night 138. Andre, always a pleasure catching up with you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Hey guys, what's up? You can find me on Andre Souk MMA on Instagram and on Twitter, and like my Facebook page. Everybody, my family especially, I know y'all miss me. Um, Thank you for the support, and for all your haters out there, I'm gonna shut your motherfucking mouths up real quick. So you guys are gonna see.